A chat with Glendora. Well, folks, so much has happened. And it's good things, too. First of all, our dear Franklin Fuller Buell, Glendora's connubial joy, conjugal bliss, husband for 48 years, was in World War II, as long as it lasted. He went in before Pearl Harbor, just a little bit in 1940 before Pearl Harbor. And he was there until Victory in Europe Day, which was 1945. And I think it was around June 5th, wasn't it? Or June 2nd, the first week of June, that the war was over in Europe. He said, as he said in the English Channel, in the 8th Army, that was the big army, the one that had the big A on their shoulder, black and red. And the one that army that was in England. They said in the English Channel, waiting for good weather, and it never came. And General Eisenhower cast a vote to go on June the 6th, whether the weather was good or not. 13 generals, and he cast the deciding vote, and they went. Walked right into it. Right into France, and shot down mercilessly. And he was in the Adjutant General's office, which keeps the personnel records. Personnel to go in to be shot, personnel to come back that have been shot, and new personnel to go in to be shot. And he went across France into Paris with the First Army, and across France and into Belgium. And one day he was standing in Belgium and he sees the Yanks coming north, and instead of going to Berlin, where the intent was to finish the war, they were going to Paris, retreating. It was the Battle of the Bulge, the last hurrah of the Nazis. So he was a veteran. And somebody gave us, in that website, care.com, to help seniors. And we called up and we told them, blind, using a walker, $2,600 monthly income, and they sent it to all kinds of places to help us. And one place was in Tennessee, and it had to do with veterans. And come to find out, Glendora is eligible for $1,200 a month in home care. And I understand some of it, folks, but I don't understand all of it. So that's one chapter. Did you hear about the undertaker who signed all of his letters, eventually yours? Another call that came from .com care, or care.com, was from a nursing home in Hoosick Falls. And they saw the $2,600 a month income, and they wanted that. And a very amiable man named Tim told us about his nursing home, the Danforth. But Lenny's not ready for a nursing home, living in one room, probably with another person. And that would be the whole life. That's chapter 2. Now chapter 3. Glenny called the Columbia County Center for Independent Living, Columbia County being in the state of New York, near Albany. And she told him that the owners of this property wanted Glendora to have somebody here all night long, every night. Well, she was outraged. She says, that's terrible. She says, there's hundreds of blind people who live alone, successfully. And so she's going to take, her name is Muriel, and she's going to take a stand against that. That's chapter 4? Chapter 4 coming up, right? And then a woman in Massachusetts, she wanted to talk to Glendora about live-in care overnight. Now, chapter 5, Glendora just get out a folder. That was what you saw Esther go with. And that folder said that Glendora has a room to rent. She will rent a room for $100. And she put an ad in the advertiser, and she's received 1 call so far. Now, chapter 6. Glendora got through all of the Olympus recorders, but they still don't work right. I can't play back. They record fine, one thing after another. That's fine. But then when you want to go back and play what you recorded, you can't find it anywhere. It's only 1,500 minutes of audio. You can always count on your undertaker. He's the last person in the world to let you down. Let's try this Olympus digital recorder. $2,100, $2,101, $2,102, $2,103, testing. Thank you, honey. Now, I would like to go back and record the Christian Science gems of this morning. And I tried to find a Sony or an Olympus microcassette recorder, the little ones. Can't find them anywhere. Craigslist. Now you can rewind these, not rewind, but back them up. Okay, we can back it up frame by frame. No, recording by recording.
And thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of other blessings.
Those were the blessings of yesterday. I think we're getting there. So, I'll just have to say it over again. First of all, we went through all of these Olympus. They were recordings of May and June and July of the year 2020, the summer. But this morning's Christian Science is what I wanted to get off to you. In your heart is love. In your heart is love and truth. That is God. And because you have love and truth in your heart, that is the knowledge of God. And with that knowledge of God, you are able to heal sickness. Is that clear? You have heart. You have love in your heart. You have truth in your heart. And because of that love and truth in your heart, that knowledge of God, you have ability to heal sickness. What sickness are you trying to heal? Well, the big one, of course, is to be one with God all the time. No selfishness, no separation, no mirage, no realizing that everything is God, we're all some of God, and we're all good, and we're all one, and we're not separate. And we're kind. And we're vegan and we don't eat animals. And we live harmlessly. And we treat others as we would be treated. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others? That's what it all amounts to. And thinking of that, chapter 8, in New York State, you cannot die, or you cannot be buried, or you cannot be cremated, or without the services of an undertaker. This is an out-and-out rip-off. It's something put through by the lobby of the undertakers through the state legislature. It is totally unconstitutional that you have to pay $1,240 minimum to leave the earth. So for a direct cremation or a direct burial, the most an undertaker can charge you is $1,250, I think. That's the most. But they will charge you a whole lot more if they can. How do you get around that? We hope that Albany Med, when this virus is over, will return to their anatomical gift program. And then they come and take the great body and help a medical student with it, an anatomy student. What is number 9? So we're trying to heal the knee that impedes the walking. We're trying to heal the blindness, have the eyesight come back. And the phones. How are you today, Google? Hey Google, send Jackson an email. You don't feel like doing it? Okay. That's a chronic problem, these cell phones, for a blind person. And what's chapter 10? There's an apartment for rent right down the foot of the street. But it's on the second floor. I was thinking of getting 2 apartments, making sure we have a spare in case anything happens to Happy House 3. That's a beautiful brand new JVC camcorder, a Vario. It's more expensive than the one I have. And we bought it over Craigslist. The price on it was $40, and we told the people we'd pay the shipping $10. And then I said we'd send them another $10 just to be nice. So we paid $60 for it. My idea, my hope, is to hook it up with a spike. Hook up the camcorder to the number 4 Magnavox DVD recorder, and to take this SD card that's in this camera and make a DVD of it and send it to the TV stations and ask somebody if they would edit it into 4 half-hour shows, and another 4 half-hour shows, and another 4 half-hour shows ad infinitum, because there can be 90 hours on this SD card. Now, to him, who exceedingly and abundantly is above anything you can ask or anything you can think, to him, to God. Okay. We covered quite a lot of it. I don't know if we got it all, but we're going to cut out now. We're going to cut out now. One more joke. Old high school principals never die. They just lose their faculties.
Glendora Vegetarian Club. Which would you rather be? A person who hands over his money at checkout to pay for a baby calf to be snatched from his mother to have his milk that God gave him turned into cheese? Or would you rather be the person who says that is cruel and selfish? You would add that you want to live harmlessly. Please go to the websites for Mercy for Animals, Vegan Outreach, Humane Farming, PETA, American Vegan Society, Farm Animals Rights Movement, Friends of Animals, Physicians Committee for Ethical Medicine, and many others. Glendora Vegetarian Club will help you think these matters through. She will earnestly tell you that you can never have the peace of God that passes all understanding until you choose vegan.
Thank you very, very much for reading that. That is a valuable message. And they say you are not mortal. You are immortal. You are eternal. Sorry, I should have said we instead of you. So there's 13 odd jobs to be done, and then there's the holy agenda. That's about 12 jobs. And then there's Glendora's morning routine of getting up and getting clean and making the bed and doing the calisthenics and tidying the kitchen, which takes about the first 4 hours. And then there's 6 challenges before us. One is finding helpers, finding people who would be willing to share their eyesight to get out these grand messages. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. That's one challenge. And the second challenge is to the owners of this property making the unreasonable request that Glendora have 20 somebody here with her all night. There's usually somebody here in the daytime too. And then there's the knee that inhibits the walking that is undergoing Christian Science treatment, and the blindness, hoping to get the eyesight back. And so many people have. Just read the last 100 pages of Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. Those healings are so thrilling. People went years and years in suffering, and doctors gave up on them, and the next step was death. But Christian Science healed them. It's a thrill to read those testimonials. What's the fourth challenge? This phone. Google. Hey Google. You have been very, very helpful today. She's better. She's much better. She doesn't go away and leave me. And what's the fifth challenge? The Undertaker. I don't think a person should be required to have the services of an undertaker. I think that's unconstitutional. A person should not be made to pay $1,250 for the services of funeral maker, either for cremation or for burial. But that's the most they can charge, at least in New York State. It's such a racket, just like the Department of Motor Vehicles. And what's the sixth challenge? Getting my dear sponsors for a chat with Glendora to sign for the 2-hour program. Many of the TV stations will play a chat with Glendora half an hour a week, but many of them will play an additional 2 hours a week. And that's more time to get out the message. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. And when you see the vegan commercials on TV, and they're so fresh, and they're so friendly, and they're so caring, and they take the message so seriously to go vegan. What are your blessings? Food, clothing, and a home. Take care of those blessings. Go vegan. Because everything else on TV is so bad, and the news we're talking about. Did we wind it up? Okay, it's time to do the Christian Science and train the thought to see things as they are, to understand God as love, life, light, truth. Harmony, eternity, one, all, whole. Computers are in the Bible. Eve said to Adam, "Do you want an apple too?" You are pure and holy because you exist. And you exist because God is the maker of everything. If it isn't made by God, it doesn't exist. And that includes sick, sin, and death. It's 6 o'clock p.m. post-meridian, and time to go to sleep. The most unusual sleeping schedule. Sleep 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, wide awake. So, lie there and try to figure out the logistics of this ship, of keeping it running and keeping the work up to date and getting all the jobs done and figuring out the timing of it and the scheduling of it and getting people to do it. Looking at the blessings of the day, looking at the blessings of the next day to come and how to handle them. The spin of the earth, 24 hours, night and day. Hard work, sweet sleep, light, dark, heat, light, time, temperature, the tilt of the earth that gives us the seasons, and here we are now 2 weeks into the last season, fall. The earth trip around the sun, the last quarter, fall.